Hello again there, YouTube fans. This is the Real Creepy Dollman here. I'm back with but this is not a normal episode. This is a double episode. So that means the Real Creepy Dollman worked twice as hard for our YouTube fans and all you diehard Real Creepy Dollman fans from around the world. We're back to do the second half. We're doing this thing for part really is actually for the second half for the first half of part one of building the Abraham Lincoln doll as a non-live episode. It is November the 29th of 2021. Time is now 3:13 a.m. Now, before we begin putting the doll together, as you can see, I have stripped the doll down to his clothes. So all his clothes are off right now as we speak. And you can see how the doll is. It is completely broken. Now, before we begin, I'll show the tools we're going to need for this job. I made a decision what I'm going to be using for this. It's not going to be these two materials. These would be the worst ones to use for this, so we're taking these out. And these are actually elastic. You don't want to use elastic. So what we're going to use is nylon thread, and I'm going to use a much stronger type and a little bit thicker than a normal type. I guess it's a little bit thicker. We're using number 18 nylon thread. And I got this at the Hobby Lobby. And we're going to use a size 6 or 8 needle. If you're squeamish, that's a needle you don't want to do. Another thing is we're going to use a pair of surgical scissors to cut this sucker free. And then we have the replacement head right here. In the box is the Abraham Lincoln doll kit by Yale House. Now, Yale House is old. I had the body parts separate, but the head was in here, right here. Now, this head is brand new, never been used. I don't need actually to replace the hands or the feet, but I will have to repaint the feet due to they got scuffle marks and that the paint is coming off. But we'll worry about that a little later on. Now, let's go ahead and open this up. This has never been opened. This is the first time he has never been opened. I must be careful not to break this. Lord knows if I break this, I can't replace it again. This is a brand new Yale House Abraham Lincoln doll head. As you can see, it's the same prototype that's on this one. And the holes, I think, are just a little bit bigger. And it should be the same prototype, but the holes are just a little bit bigger on it for some reason. It may be the same size, it may be different. I believe it's the same size, maybe a hair, probably a bit bigger. It doesn't matter, we'll see if it actually worked with this doll. Before we begin, what we have to do, if you have a doll like this, and you're trying to fix a doll, you want to remove the thread off the old doll. So you want to come in and just simply cut your thread, and you want to remove all the thread to it and not remove half the thread but all the thread. As you do so, you'll make sure it's a clean cut. And there's how we get it loose. As you can see how it is stitched, I have to do this. I have to redo the same way when I use the needle. It is stitched underneath, but when we do it, we're going to use only twice that size amount of thread versus a little. Right. All right. I'll try to pull it through and get all I can get of its body. This stuff. I'll just come over here and then cut the rest off. I kind of feel sad because this was actually Mr. Lott's personal doll. Now, somebody broke this doll. We don't know who broke it, and we can't tell who broke it, so anybody could have broke this. Was it one of his family members? I don't know. But all I know is the doll's in bad shape after I got it. I got it from his daughter, Cheryl, and she gave it to me. I'll try to get as much of the thread out so that we can get the new thread on. Alright. Alright. There we go. Okay, before we do this again, we got to make sure we attach the head the same way the original doll head was attached. And we're going to make sure that it's a perfect fit. Because if not, it won't fit on there right. As you see, it does look like a perfect fit. But it may have to be stitched a little different here. The holes look like it's a little different on the lining. So this might be a different doll, different way it was made. Or the holes were made different on this one. So we're going to have to do a little different on the lining of the holes, I believe. Alright. Before I begin finding out how I'm going to do the lining of the holes and where I want to position it, I must make sure it's positioned the same way. And judging by the position the way it is, I'm going to copyize their way or different. Now, before we begin, I'm going to have to open up this thread and make sure I get it right. How many minutes are we already into, Mr. Cameraman?
7.
7 minutes. Well, we had to come back and do another part if we had to, but judging how fast it'll take me to get that loose. Yeah. Right. Alright. Before we begin, I'm going to have to make sure this is a clean cut. I'll probably go a little fuller down than what I should. You have to make sure it's a clean cut before you can put it in. And simply try to push it through. Yeah, it's not going to go through. Alright. Well, we had to, we'll come back to this in a minute. We may take a short pause and then come back to figure out how we're going to bring this through. Or we'll have to continue on video, the next video. So we'll come back and do it on the third video. Alright. Let's